Fife Property market update. So this is for the week commencing the 14th to the 20th. So this is our second to last one for 2025. And this is where we're going to do a run through of what was taking place last week. And this is with all agencies that use Rightmove across Fife. Then we'll take a look at what we were doing in particular as an agency. And we have got some amazing properties coming up. And also something to look out for when you're sitting on Boxing Day. So keep listening to hear all about that. And then before we end the show, we'll do a roundup of the shows that were taking place so you can see what to go back and rewatch. But this is a great show if you are thinking of selling, if you're perhaps on the market, if you're buying within Fife, or you just have a genuine interest within the Fife property market. As always, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Likewise, if you're listening to the show and you want to discuss anything in further detail, reach out. We are more than happy to speak with you because ultimately that's why we're here. But last week, so people will probably be thinking that now is not the time to sell, which I can see why you would think that. However, if you do watch these shows, you will see that the numbers tell you otherwise. And we are continuing to see that. Now, we are very big on 1 week does not make a trend. However, if you do watch these shows, you will see that week on, week out, there has been more buyers than there has been properties coming to market. If you go back a couple of weeks shows, you'll see the November roundup, where you'll see that there was 423 buyers on the marketplace last month, in the month of November in Fife, 423. And there was only 382 properties went to market. So there was more buyers and people actively looking for their next home than stock that was hitting the marketplace. So if you really are thinking of selling, these winter months are the perfect time because you have less competition because everybody thinks they need to wait until spring, summer now. As I said, though, if you do want to discuss that in more detail, please do. And there's some great shows out there to help educate you further because that is the key here. It's your biggest asset in life. So you really need to be making those informed decisions, doing your homework, and really understanding the Fife marketplace. And that is a key when you're picking an estate agent. So do keep a lookout for the other shows that have been taking place because that gives you great insight. But when we look at last week alone then, and last week was no different from what we've been educating you in terms of the numbers, let me pull it up. So this is with all agencies that use Rightmove across Fife. And this is where you see 67 new properties hit the market last week versus 70 properties sold. So there was more properties sold than what actually hit the marketplace. And that is the absolute key here. This is where it is fantastic to understand the numbers, understand the facts, because that really does help guide you. So for example, if we break it down into micro regions, you have Cooper. So there were 6 properties instructed versus 6 properties sold. Even numbers, and that is great to see. And to be honest, for Cooper, sometimes they are the numbers that we do see. Sometimes they don't always trigger the double figures. So actually, there's nothing untoward in that KY1415 postcode. What is surprising, though, is East Nuke. There was 8 properties instructed. Now, for an average week, that is high. Even some weeks, they don't even trigger that in the spring, summer months. So 8 new instructions in the East Luke alone is a great result to see. Likewise, yes, there was only 2 buyers. However, again, that is a number that you do tend to see in the East Nuke. Obviously, there is higher price point. There's different things in place in terms of second home ADS. You've got your council tax, etc. So there is different things that come into play. But actually, 8 new properties going to market is strong. Versus St Andrews, your KY16 postcode, you had 8 new instructions versus 3 properties sold. So 8, again, is actually quite an average number for St Andrews. Sometimes they will stay in single digits. Sometimes they will trigger into those double digits. However, 8 properties instructed in St Andrews is kind of an average number. What is slightly less is what properties sold. Only 3 properties sold. However, again, St Andrews market is slightly different. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I did do a show in further detail about the KY16 postcode and why that is a slightly more difficult marketplace than the rest of the other micro regions within Fife. but 3 is slightly less than we see. But it is nothing to be alarmed of, because St Andrews actually had some strong weeks the last couple of weeks of properties selling, which means we are slowly working through the backlog of stock that was within that KY16 postcode. Now, if anybody is in St Andrews and wants to discuss St Andrews in particular in more detail, I am more than happy to have that conversation with you, whether you message, whether you call into the office, please do so. And I'm more than happy to really educate you into how that marketplace is operating and what you can do as a seller if you are thinking of selling in St Andrews. Leave in mouth, this is probably where it's most surprising actually, is not one instruction in the KY8 postcode, not one, which I think out of all the time I've been doing this, I have never seen a week like that. So yes, that is something that we are quite surprised at. However, it's nothing to be alarmed about, because they still got 6 properties over the line. There was still 6 buyers active in the KY8 postcode. So that means any previous stock, perhaps from previous weeks, previous months, is now off the shelf. It's gone. So it means it's still, yes, nothing new hit the marketplace, but that market can still take it because there was stock sitting, and actually we've cleared through that backlog. And sometimes that can actually be a great thing, because it means people have gone to that and now we haven't got stale stock sitting. However, if you do keep listening to this show, you will hear that we've got some great properties coming to market. So actually, there's nothing to be worried about in the KY8 area. 1 week, that doesn't make a trend. It is still an absolutely strong market within that KY8 postcode. Then you have Dunfermline. Now, this is probably where we've seen the biggest drop in numbers. Dunfermline always is higher transactional numbers. It is. They are always in your 50s to 60s on average week on, obviously in the really high summer months triggering the hundreds. But this is where we've seen a really big drop in numbers. But it's to be expected. Dunfermline, like the rest of the other micro regions, they've dropped. Obviously Dunfermline will as well. But yes, compared to the other micro regions, it is still high. But for Dunfermline, your 28 and your 27 is quite low. But again, it just means it's working through any stock, but there is still buyers out there. Glenrothes 10 versus 13. Actually, not a drastic drop. Normally, it is more towards your higher 10s, getting towards your 20s. But again, nothing to be concerned about. It is still ticking over, and there was still 13 buyers on the marketplace. And the exact same in Kirkcaldy as well. Now, yes, those numbers are lower for Kirkcaldy with only single digits, so only 7 instructed. Normally, it is a lot higher than that, but still 13 properties sold. And that's what it's great to see. Majority of those micro regions has had more properties sold than property went to market. And that is the key here. This is why you really are needing to look at the facts, look at your numbers, and understand what the marketplace is telling you, because everybody thinks that they need to wait till spring, summer to sell. But this is a fantastic time if you're a seller, because it means you've got less competition, but you'll get over the line. And that is the key here. And what we tend to see is when people have less options and less competition, one, they act faster because they don't have all that availability, and 2, they put their best foot forward because they're aware that there is a lot of competition for that property. So that is what was happening with all agencies across Fife. Now we'll take a look at what we were doing in particular as an agency. So this is where we look at properties that we have sold, what are coming soon, which is the really interesting part, and then also what has concluded, just so you can see what offers are being accepted. So we will start with sold. So this is what we negotiated on last week. So let's just pull it up for you. And then not that one. Now we have got just the one, but it's great because it is within that KY area that we were speaking about. And this is the property here. So this is in London Links, and this is an absolutely stunning property. Now it is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, ground floor executive apartment, beautifully presented. It is immaculately finished. And what's great with this property is where you're situated within London Links, you have got stunning views, absolutely incredible, right over the Firth of Forth and beyond. So it's a fantastic location, and they've got an absolutely stunning property. Now, this particular property was on the market for offers over 330,000. Obviously, we can't disclose what offer was accepted on it. That is where you just need to look out for it concluding. But honestly, the family are absolutely delighted. As I say, it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, ground floor apartment. Now, this particular family are downsizing, but it's not like they're compromising on anything. Yes, they are downsizing, but they have got a stunning home in a fantastic location, and they're looking forward to those sea views and obviously the lifestyle that they're going to get moving to Victoria Road. So that is properties that we sold last week, and we had offers accepted on. Now we will take a run through, and this is where you need to be sitting comfortably. We will take a run through of properties that are coming to market with ourselves. I think I just broke my glasses, apologies. Properties that are coming to market with ourselves. So this is where you need to be really keen and looking out on our social media channels. So Perry and I have been out to value these properties. They are coming to market with ourselves, and this is taking place even over the festive period. We are not closing. There is still plenty of activity happening in the agency. Now, the first lot I'm going to give you are properties that we've been out to, and we're in the process of doing marketing, and the pre-portals will be going live. Now, if you aren't aware what a pre-portal is, this is where we've valued the home, signed up, and we're starting the marketing. We then do a full video walkthrough. So we stand at the front of that property, we give you a brief into the home, we then do a full video walkthrough with you, showing you all of the details, everything that you need to know, the features, is there potentially any development areas, potential to add value. We then take you out the outdoor space, we then talk you through the location, then we tell you the price point. Key here, make sure you always listen to the end, because so many people are obviously just keen to understand if it's within their affordability, and then they jump on and ask how much it is. But if you honestly keep listening till the end, we will always tell you the price point. Then if it is a property that ticks all your boxes, it's within your price range, and it's something that you want to jump on, then reach out to us. When you see that pre-portal, so you'll see the words pre-portal, you'll see the agent's face, that is where you need to act fast, because you have a short window of time to potentially secure that property. And the key is to make our seller an offer that they cannot refuse before it does go to your Rightmove, your Zoopla, and your S1 Homes. That is the key here. Watch that full video walkthrough. If it ticks your boxes, act fast, because you could potentially, if you put your best foot forward with your offer, you could potentially secure that property before it goes to the wider market. Now, to see these pre-portals, you need to be following our social media channels. So we have a Facebook page for every area that we cover within Fife. So wherever you're looking to purchase your next home, follow that relevant Facebook page, and then just watch out and look. And as soon as you see that video, jump fast. So I've got quite a lot to run through, which is fantastic because there's been so much activity. If there is any questions, please do ask. First one, Newark Farm Cottages. Now this is St Monans based. Now for those that maybe don't know, if you have seen Bow House, you're just opposite from there. So fantastic location. And this particular property is a 3-bedroom, 3-reception, 2-bathroom, terraced cottage. It is a big footprint of property. And let me tell you, when you are standing out front, you do not realize how much property you're getting. For it to be 3 bedrooms, one of which is 1-level living, 3 reception rooms. You've got a great sized kitchen, conservatory, living room. You could potentially look at doing some kind of open plan feature if you wish. Then 2 bathrooms, as I say, one of which is on the lower level, and then you've got a shower room upstairs, and you've got driveway for 2 vehicles, and you've got garden space that is south facing and completely private. So it really is a fantastic property in a great location. Now that one will be coming to market with us in the new year, so you don't have to wait long. Follow the East Nuke page. Next property is Crawford Terrace in Springfield. Now the pre-portal for this one actually went live on Friday on our Cooper page, so go back and have a look at that if you are in the market for a 3-bedroom mid-terraced home. It's a great price point that will appeal to first-time buyers, families, those looking to perhaps upsize, those that just want to get their foot in the door in the area, or if you're perhaps an investor or a landlord. It is a great property with 3 bedrooms, 2 receptions. You've got a driveway, you've got garden to the rear, moving condition ready to go, and that is on the Cooper page on Friday just gone. Next one is Penrith Park in London Links. This is a 4-bedroom detached home, double garage, fantastic location. You're in a really sought after cul-de-sac area, and of links that in itself is desirable, but it's a fantastic family home if you are looking for your next one. So do keep a lookout for Perry doing that pre-portal on our leave-in page. Next one is Stockwind in Strathmiglo. So this is a 4-bedroom link detached property. And actually looking at it, you actually look and go, where is it actually link detached? It is, in my eyes, I would say it's detached, but it is link detached. Now this is a, as I say, 4-bedroom, but actually what's great with this is you do have one level living because it's got a bedroom and bathroom on the lower level, and you've got so much reception space. You've got open plan kind of living room come snug dining room area. There's 2 separate sets of patio doors to your garden. You've then got a great big dining kitchen, and actually you have a further living room on the upper level, so it's elevated and you've got amazing views over the rooftops. You can see a little bit the Lomond Hills, and then as I say, it's got 3 further bedrooms as well as the one on the ground floor. So it's a fantastic family home. You've got a driveway space, you've got garden space. So if, and we know it's Strathmiglo, it is going to be desirable, it is going to be popular. I'm actually going to be doing the pre-portal for that one tomorrow morning. Then it'll be hitting the Cooper page, so you don't have to wait long for it. It is a fantastic family home, so please act fast if you are keen. Then you have Lago Road in Leven. So a lot, as I say, happening in the KY area, and this is a 4-bedroom detached house, so another fantastic family home if that is what you're in the market for. Keep a lookout for Perry doing her pre-portal for that one. Then these next properties are coming soon, but they are going to be hitting on Boxing Day for the Boxing Day bounce. Yes, that's right. You are getting 4 new properties hitting the market on Boxing Day. So when you're sitting there and you are absolutely full up of all the different treats that you've been having, obviously there's not much else you can do on Boxing Day. Yes, you might be with family. Yes, you'll be sitting around. You'll be on your phone. We know that, of course. So do keep a lookout. And if you're perhaps sitting at home and thinking, I perhaps need different space, I need more space, or actually I want to be closer to family, so is there a property in X location or Y location? Or actually, this is too big. I've had to do so much cleaning over the festive period. I don't want to be doing that anymore. I want to downsize. There could be so many different reasons, but make sure you're on your phone and you're looking out for these. So these properties are going live on Boxing Day. So if any of them at all, tick your boxes or could be your next home, act fast, reach out, and the team will be more than happy to guide you through next steps and what that can look like. So the first one is Crail Road, Anstruther. It's a 2-bedroom end terrace townhouse, 3 levels. Going inside, you've got a bedroom and a bathroom on the lower level. So we've already ticked that 1 level living. You head up the stairs. You've got a dining living space that's got patio doors to a Juliet balcony that has views right over the rooftops to the Firth of Forth. You've got your galley kitchen. Heading upstairs to your final level is you've got your master bedroom with an ensuite. So it's 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, end terrace townhouse, and it is immaculate. Not a thing that you need to do. Just move in and start enjoying the fantastic location. Because yes, you've got the view of the rooftops. Yes, you're in Anstruther. You're literally a 2-minute if walk to Shore Street, where you've got your cafes, bistros, restaurants, the harbour, the Fife Coastal Path. But you've also got allocated parking, which is a fantastic addition in the East Nook. So that one is going live on Boxing Day. Next one is Wellesley Road in Buckhaven. Now, this particular property is a 3-bedroom semi-detached house. We know Wellesley Road, it is a popular one. We know that is going to be absolutely flying off the shelves, we'll say. So do make sure when you see that, don't want to miss your opportunity, especially it's a 3-bedroom semi-detached home. It's a family home, it's sought after. So we do know it's going to be popular. Keep a lookout. Canella Place in Thornton. This is a fantastic home. It is a bungalow to begin with, so we know they are sought after. They are rarely available. This particular one is a 3-bedroom detached bungalow. Now, for those that don't know, it's Canella Place, which is in the Lochte Meadows development within Thornton. So as you enter into Thornton, you've got our newish development. Actually, the properties aren't that old. and it is a bungalow. Now, within that development, there is a children's park. There's areas, obviously, to walk your dog. But they are finished to such a high standard. They are immaculate. And actually, for relatively new builds, they're really spacious as well. But as I say, this one is a bungalow, so it is going to be desirable. And it's in a fantastic location because you are literally seconds and you are on the A92 for commuting to Dundee, Perth, Edinburgh, beyond. So it's a fantastic location, an immaculately presented home. So look out for Perry's video walkthrough, her personal property tour of that one on Boxing Day. And then finally, we really are spoiling you on Boxing Day. So this is where you need to be sitting comfortable and looking out. You've got Graham Crescent in Leven. Now, this one is a 2-bedroom semi-detached property. So again, another home that is going to appeal to first-time buyers, investors, landlords, families perhaps upsizing from flats, likewise families looking to downsize as well. So that is the 4 properties that will be hitting the Rightmove, the Zoopla, the S1 Home on Boxing Day. If it is something that appeals to you, please do reach out. We can then get you a viewing, we can start negotiations, and you could be starting the new year knowing that you have secured your next home. Now, if you want to have any more details on that or ask any questions, please do reach out. Finally completed. So this is properties that have gone through the conveyancing stage. New owners have moved in and they are enjoying their new home. And it is Methil Bray in Methil. So this particular property is a 2-bedroom, 2-reception, ground floor apartment, moving condition, ready to go, which is great for this time of year considering they've just concluded. They're in just in time for Christmas, but it is moving condition. 1-level living as well, which is fantastic. And you've got front and rear garden, so plenty of outdoor space. And this one sold for 80,500. New owners are absolutely delighted because with this particular home, they do get to see some sea views as well, which is amazing. So that is a great one to have over the line. Now, before we end the show, let's do a run through of the shows that have been taking place during the week so you know what to go back and rewatch. Now, as always, you have the Wealth Creation Show. So that is where you have Jim Parker, one of the UK's most successful property investors, and Richard Cook, the lettings director, on hand discussing a new topic. And this is all about behavioural economics. So this is always on a Monday at 12:30. So you can either watch it live or you can watch the rerun. And it's about buying and spending are rarely purely logical activities. Instead, they are driven by a complex interplay of brain chemistry, emotional triggers, and strategic marketing. Spending often activates the brain's reward system, primarily through dopamine, and many spending decisions are attempts to regulate or satisfy emotional states. This instant pleasure reinforces the behavior, leading the brain to associate spending happiness. However, because this high is fleeting, it often leads to a cycle of repeated spending to almost recapture that feeling. Does this sound something that perhaps you can relate to? Then do you want to perhaps learn on the behaviors and triggers behind some of those spending habits and traits? Great show. Probably especially for this time of year because we can get carried away. You will be able to watch the show later today at 12:30. As I say, you've got Jim Parker and Richard Cook on hand with that topic. And then another show that was done was Caring for Rental Homes and Landlords' Obligations and Tenant Duties. So if you are perhaps a landlord or you're looking to explore going into that avenue, then this could be the one for you. It is with Richard Cook again, lettings director, and Karen Marshall, the letting agent. And it is all about the responsibilities of caring for residential homes. They are clearly defined, but it is those subtle grey areas that leave the door open for disputes between tenants and landlords. Some obligations are set out in law, and some depend on what you actually agree in that tenancy agreement. Others get left out altogether. And these omissions are often the cause of awkward disagreements. Fortunately, most conflicts can be avoided with the right preparation and knowledge. So this is where Richard and Karen give you really important information. They give you that guide for caring for your rental homes. But likewise, if you do have any questions, they'd be more than happy to speak with you and guide you and assist you in any way. So if there's anything when you watch the show, put it in the comments and they will come back to you. But that is us for another week of the Fife property market. I will see you next Tuesday to do it all again. We just had to do it on Monday today because we've got properties going live. It is busy. But it will be next Tuesday and we can do a catch up after the Christmas, get ready for the new year. But if there's anything in the meantime, please do reach out and make sure you are looking on Boxing Day for those 4 properties going live. You do not want to miss the Boxing Day bounce. But from myself and everybody at Fife Properties, we wish you an incredible Christmas with family and friends. We wish you all the best. And as I say, I will see you next Tuesday. All the best. Take care.